Welcome back to Magnificently Black, where we elevate Black excellence. Today, we are going to be discussing how Black hobbies affect the community and how they make us, what do the hobbies make us do? They make us overjoyed, they bring balance, and help us with self care. So, on today's episode, we have the esteemed Jhone on the episode. Whoop, 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 whoop. How you doing, Johnny? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. So if anybody doesn't know, this is my wife. She has my glasses like fogging up, but we are so excited to have you on this episode today as we just talk about hobbies and how they are important to us as a community and just being a African American woman and just seeing that hobbies aren't something that are a norm sometimes in certain cultures or things like that. So we'll just go ahead and dive in. So the first question that I have for you is what is some of what was your experience for your first hobby? And did you have any while you were growing up? Um, Give us some insight on that.
Sure. Growing up, I didn't have any particular hobbies that I consistently did. I did try a lot of different things like blogging, creating websites. I was a very avid poet and I
Oh,
wrote
really?
songs. I tried playing different instruments like the keyboard, the guitar. I tried a lot of different things because I always had an interest in learning how to do something or trying different things that were outside of just, being a kid, going to school, coming home and playing. Like I wanted to do something else. But I never
Okay.
understood the importance and the value of hobbies until early adulthood after completing my degrees in college. To me, getting degrees was kind of like my hobby, like going to school was
Yeah,
my
yeah.
hobby. After my third degree, I decided that, okay, maybe I should look for something that's a little bit more sustainable and something that's not going to cause me to have student loan debt. So I started
Yeah. Yep.
exploring hobbies throughout my matriculation of my specialist degree. So I explored different things that I was introduced to in college, or just different things that I was introduced to by social media, or things that I always wondered, what was that like? And I just, tried different things to see what stuck. And the value that I found in those hobbies is really the thing that stuck. Taking that time out to do something that brings you joy, something that offers you self care that isn't necessarily something that you have to go out and purchase. When we think of
Yeah.
self-care, we think about going to get your hair done, going to get your nails done, going to get a matcha, Pilates class. We think
Got
about some of the
to.
superficial things, but hobbies could also be an act of self-care, investing that time and energy into a craft or learning something new. So that was my
Okay.
big takeaway from hobbies.
So you said you mentioned well, you didn't really mention Instagram, but like what were some of the places that you found like hobbies? Like where did you go online to like actually um what actual like websites or Facebook? Did you go to what's some other places you like visited to get ideas about different hobbies you were looking into?
So I'll say that being on social media, it kind of pushed me more towards hobbies because I realized that I was spending such an extensive amount on social media. And I'm like, dang,
Mm,
this can't really be like my life. Like, wake up, go to work, come home, scroll online, cook dinner, go to sleep. Like, there has to be
yeah.
more to life than just sitting here on social media. But during my doom scrolling era, when I would be on social media, I would see different types of, people doing hobbies. I would be on YouTube watching videos of people sewing or watching people's process of creating children's books or watching people color. I'm like, dang, instead of watching it, maybe I should actually get up and do this. Like, I'm interested in these things. So why not do the action of completing these different activities? So social media kind of gave me an insight, kind of gave me some ideas of what to do, as well as like just, mindlessly scrolling through Hobby Lobby, Michael's, just the craft stores, what they
Mm.
took out. Um, and Pinterest has really been one of those tools. I don't use like TikTok or anything. I still watch YouTube because that's where I kind of taught myself
YouTube
how to sew.
University.
YouTube University. That's where I've kind of learned a lot of the hobbies that I spend my time doing with YouTube. But Pinterest has also been a very big component of inspiration and kind of direction when it comes to the different hobbies and things that I try.
Okay. So when you look at hobbies, when I think of hobbies, I think of, for me, like you said, you did like websites and poets and things like that, and writing poems, and you went to Pinterest and YouTube. So were there any hobbies that you actually were like, I want to try them, but I don't know if it's feasible, if you like didn't have the time, or you didn't have the, if you didn't, or you were like, yeah, that's gonna be too much brain work. Was there any hobbies like that that you were looking into?
Yeah, so when I think about hobbies in general, I think of something that you do where you turn off your mind and you're just
Mhm.
able to relax and enjoy something. You're not doing it like for competition, you're not doing it to make money. Like it's something that you're just doing for enjoyment, something that you're doing to pass time. So oftentimes when people talk about hobbies, they talk about four different layers of hobbies. So you have your creative hobbies like painting or drawing or creating things like sewing for me. Then you have your
Okay.
physical hobbies, which is like running or being a part of a dance club, strolling, things like that. That's your physical. Then you may have intellectual hobbies like reading. I'm a big reader. That's one of the hobbies that I invest time in as well. And then you might have some more social hobbies like being a part of an organization or a social club. And sometimes people like to put in income generating hobbies. But
Mhm.
for me, if it's income generating, that means you're doing something for a client. That takes away the fun of
Mhm.
it. So
It
I
does.
really don't consider that to be a hobby. That's more like a side hustle. That's a job. Um, but for me, with beginning my journey with hobbies, I was very hesitant about spending money. And some of the
Yeah.
things that I wanted to do, I'm like, oh, that's going to cost too much to get started in. Particularly, one thing that I was interested in doing as an educator, I was interested in creating educational resources because
Okay. How did that go?
I felt like it would be something that I would enjoy, but also I could profit from because you have platforms like Teachers Pay Teachers where you could sell your resources to other teachers, or I could, make my own website and sell the items there. But then my brain started working and I'm like, this isn't fun. I'm not enjoying this. I'm working for work. I'm working to
Mhm.
earn additional money. So it didn't feel like a hobby to me. It felt like I said, a side hustle, something to generate income outside of my regular job. So, although it's something that I still am interested in exploring, I don't look at it from the same lens of a hobby because it wasn't bringing me balance or peace or
Yeah.
joy. It was more of, a
Work.
different
Work.
stream of income.
Yeah. So that definitely makes sense. Like knowing when you want to incorporate a hobby that is, like you said, this you can turn your brain off. Like for me, it's like, yeah, I like doing the podcast. I love doing it, but I don't like building websites. Like I'm a techie, but I'm not a techie to the point I will build a website for fun. So like when
Mm-hmm.
you said like having creating for teachers pay teachers, it's like, yeah, you're killing two birds with one stone because then you can still use it for yourself, but it's also just like you're continuously working and you have that, you don't have your brain break that you need from work and saying, okay, yeah, I'm setting boundaries, I'm not
Yeah,
about to do no work.
absolutely.
Okay, okay. So do you think that in some of the hobbies that you mentioned, like sewing, do you think there's a good representation of African American women that are there? And if not, how do you think you can help or ex yeah, how do you think you can help others become interested in those hobbies?
Well, I think in general, there's a lack of representation with Black women amongst a lot of hobbies because it's not something that, as young girls, we're taught to, cultivate a hobby, find something that you're interested in, something that you enjoy, and use that for leisure activities. It's almost like leisure is a luxury for Black women.
Mm,
Like your
yeah.
downtime, you're supposed to be cooking, you're supposed to be cleaning, you're supposed to do something else. And, a lot of times, I ask my friends or my siblings, like, what's your hobby? What do you like to do? And they might say, I like to look on TikTok. I like to watch YouTube
Read
videos.
books.
I like to
Yeah.
go shopping. And I'm like, are those really hobbies? But, a hobby can be, it's open to interpretation, but
Yeah.
it's not something that we really are encouraged to pursue. So I
Yeah.
found that when looking at different hobbies, particularly like I love doing Lego sets and puzzles. So when I search those things up on like Pinterest, on YouTube, you often see non-black and brown representation more than you see us. We're not really
Yes.
in those spaces. It's not a norm for someone to enjoy doing those different things, or to
Yeah.
enjoy coloring without trying to sell the coloring book.
You're right. You're
So
right about that. And that's one of the things that why I wanted to talk today, because I feel like a lot of times we are not well represented in different hobbies. And a lot of the hobbies, like you said, we feel like it has to be a luxury when like a luxury is should be afforded to everybody.
mhm.
It should not be based on a color or a class or anything like that. If you want to do it, if you want to just have fun and release your mind and just be like, okay, let me go read a book. Let me go read two chapters in a book, come back and you've reset. You're like, you're in a better mood. Most of the time, hobbies actually help the individual, like I said, reset and also see things from a different angle too.
Right. The
So,
world is in shambles, but I'm crushing my TBR list. So a
yes.
win is a win.
That part. So you like you just said you're crushing your TB. What is it called? A TBL list? A
TBR to
TB
be read.
to be okay.
My book
So
girlies know.
for book girlies. So with that, what do you think are some of the books that you would recommend to people to read that's on your TB list?
Okay, so as a member of a book club, I find it very hard to give
Mhm.
recommendations because what I like, you might not like. And I
Okay.
found
Okay.
even that's one of my challenges. Like, I've pursued a book club, I try to be engaged and active, but some of the things that we're reading is not really aligned with my interest in the type of books that I like to read. Like, I don't want to read a psychological thriller. Like, I don't want to read anything that's going to make me sad. Like, I'm very much a romance reader, urban fiction. Give me something cute. I
A
don't
little
want
hood
to
book. A
read
little
anything.
hood book. Terry McMillan. All them people.
Yes, I don't want to
Okay.
read anything that's like super thought provoking. And it's not because I don't want to learn. It's just that I want to engage with the story in a different way. Like, I want to
Mhm.
kiki. I want to feel butterflies. I want to root for the characters. And I can't feel that if I'm like anxious because I'm trying to figure out what's going on, like what is going to happen next. That takes away the fun in the book for me. So I'm sorry, I don't have any recommendations. It's you have to
Okay.
go around Barnes and
Hey.
Noble, hit up your local library and figure out what sticks out to you, what pulls you in.
I could definitely agree with that. So, like, one of the ways that you were saying was like you have a book club. So, a lot of things that, um, I would say a lot of people that are, okay, they call them hobbyists. You have to find that community that
Absolutely.
you don't have to have like minds, but you do have areas where you can communicate together. You can join and be like, hey, let's meet up at a coffee shop
Mm-hmm.
and you read your book. The group of us will be reading books. You may have the same book, like she said, being in a book club. So with the book club, everybody reads the same book or come back, y'all talk about it. But there are some places like we were looking at here in Atlanta, they have like silent reads and
Yes.
you can bring your own book and read what you want to read and still just be in the company of other people that like to read. So
Mm-hmm.
when listeners definitely find a hobby that you like and find a community that can support that hobby, as in a group like she goes to book clubs, I go to a choral group. So my hobby is saltwater aquariums. So I like to go to the Atlanta, what is it, Atlanta Saltwater Aquariums group,
The
and we
Reef Club.
actually, yeah, the Reef Club, and we're all reefers, and we just talk about different corals, meet up and talk about how to take care of the health. There's other things of like they can give you information about different lights, different tops, just the world of saltwater. versus tanks, freshwater, animals that can eat this, animals that can't eat this. And like having a community like that definitely makes you want to learn more and makes you want to be more active in that
Yeah, it
community.
keeps you going. And for
Yeah.
me, I feel like I've been able to find a lot of my community in
Mhm.
through social media. So I'm a part of a bunch of Facebook groups that align with all of my hobbies and interests. But you know, as a Black woman, you have to put Black women or Black girls when
Mhm.
looking for the Facebook group. So I have like I'm in Black girls who garden, Black women who bake, Black women who sew, Black girls read too, Black girls write
Yeah.
too, you know, just different groups that kind of hold me accountable. We can encourage one another, share what we're reading, share what we're writing, sharing what we're creating, get tips and tricks and see the sales, what's going on. Like I love being able to experience that with people from around the world who, you know, just decided to be a part of that online community, but also like being a part of local book clubs. Even though I don't
Mhm.
always, you know, enjoy the picks, I still read them. So it's like
Yeah.
being able to meet and talk about that. And that gives the opportunity to go to different places and experience different things. And especially with us being not new to Georgia, but you know, we still fresh. So being
Yeah.
able to meet more people in the area and make those different connections is something that's very valuable that I get to obtain through my hobbies.
Yeah. And I feel like also like you said, by being in this area, you can go to different events. And then at those events, you learn about other events that you
Mm-hmm.
may not have even known about. Like it could be other book clubs, it could be running clubs. Like we
Yeah.
ran a 5K, and like she was saying, like a hobby could be a physical hobby. So one of the things that we even talked about were doing 5Ks. That was one of our hobbies in 2025. So that's one of the things, like you can have hobbies that you do together with your significant other. Like we have hobbies together
Mm-hmm.
and we have hobbies separately. And that brings us definitely peace and joy together and apart. And then when we come back together, we're just like, okay, what did you do? What did you learn? How was your book? Like you can have conversations that build on that.
I
And
feel
I
like
feel
it
like
makes you more interesting to have
it
a hobby,
does.
an interest. Like, oh, you do that? Tell me more.
Yeah. And then the other thing is like when you're telling your significant other about it, like I'm like lighting up because she's telling me about her book, or she's lighting up because I'm like, oh yeah, the coral of this, and they did this, and da 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 da. And then she's telling me about the book. Well, yeah, the character did this, but they're not actually developing, and I don't understand what's going on. And I'm just like, well, I don't know. But then we go to a 5K or to the gym and we're like, okay, we're working out on this together because we know, hey, we about to run this 5K and we need to
Mhm.
kind of have the same pace or
Yeah.
something similar. So, with that being said, about the 5K, what was one of your hobbies? What are your one of your newer hobbies that you think you are growing to like, and maybe what made you want to start that hobby?
So, as a little girl, I used to love sewing and like every Christmas I would get any kind of fashion design anything. So if that's like a fashion design kit that has like the little mannequin that you can draw the outfits for, you can rip them out and paste them onto the paper, like anything that had to do with like fashion and creating
Perfect.
different looks. That was something that I enjoyed doing as a kid. But I believe I had a sewing machine when I was younger. I just don't remember, but it was something that as I got older I wanted to explore more, but not just like making clothes or apparel. I wanted to explore sewing other things. So I recently have gotten into quilting, and I'm kind of obsessed with quilting because I love the process of it, and it's enjoyable for me. I've tried apparel making, and we might not be ready for that just yet because it's much more complicated than quilting, but it is something that I'm open to exploring more of. With sewing in general, for me, one of my biggest hesitations with starting was the investment that you have to make to
Mm,
get your initial sewing equipment. So yeah, you can start off by hand sewing, but for me, I wanted a sewing machine because I am a wife. I do have a job. So time is limited. So sewing by hand would require just a little bit more than what I am capable of giving. So knowing that I have a wonderful supportive partner who decided to give me a sewing machine to help me with my sewing journey, and that has been crucial in my creative journey. But even just like fabric is expensive, Joanne's going out of business, so it's just
Mhm.
been it's been an interesting journey getting into sewing, but it's something that I really enjoy, and I can see myself continuing to do, even if I'm 80 years old, still making quilts and sewing pillowcases
Make it
because
for the
it's fun.
grandkids. Okay.
It's fun, it's cute, and I just enjoy my experience doing it.
Mm. Well, we love to hear that you have hobbies that you are exploring more into, like reading books and sewing. And we would love to see some of your work and stuff like that. We may have some pictures put in the podcast episode, you guys.
I'm still a
Um,
beginner.
hey, but as we say, you always have to start somewhere. If
Hmm.
you don't start, you can never say you didn't try.
Right.
So like definitely sewing is something that is a art because it's definitely like putting together like a puzzle. You
Hmm.
have cutting out pieces, you have, oh, okay, this fits, this doesn't fit. But sewing is one of the things that I don't think will ever go out of style or ever be something that people won't like to do because
Hmm.
I see how much joy it brings you. And I see that when we go to Joann's, it's packed with people buying fabric or something like that. And then like the people that's there just, oh, hey, well, what are you making? Well, what are you making? So like
Right.
even just going to like Joann's and Michael's, you can physically have a community in a store or get to know somebody that has some of the same interests.
Hmm. Absolutely.
So, okay. So I just want to say, hey, listeners, one of the challenges that we have for you is to basically pick out a hobby that brings you joy and balance in your life as well as self care. You want to make sure you're able to have a brain break from the world, not even just like work. We say the world as in family, friends, everything, things that make you
Society,
feel,
what's going
yeah,
on politically. Black
yeah.
women deserve rest. We deserve leisure.
Mhm.
We deserve the luxury of time. And we have to take it. We have to reclaim our time and say, hey, if
What you
I'm going to spend 2 hours reading or sewing or painting or running or doing yoga or going to a Zumba class, I deserve it. And there's no shame, there's no guilt because we do a lot and we deserve
yeah.
to be able to rest, bring ourselves joy, the same joy that we give to everyone else. We have to pour back into ourselves and make sure that we're enjoying life as well.
I like that. Okay, that's a word. Okay, so listeners, please like, comment, and subscribe. Um, we would like to thank you for joining us today, Jhone, on today's episode of
Thank you for having me.
Black, Black Grown and Thriving: How Hobbies Bring Us Joy and Self-Care. So we were say thank you and follow us on YouTube. Our Instagram page is up. Follow us there. Um, on our next episode, Jen will be back and we have some other people coming. So we want to say thank you. We appreciate you and peace and love you.
Love
See y'all
you. Bye,
later.
guys.
Bye.